Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, it's time for an EDC update. EDC stands for Everyday Carry. If you haven't seen these videos before, it's basically me talking about stuff that I carry every day. Certain things I carry more often than others, but there's generally a theme here. Every day I have a knife. Every day I have a gun. Every day I have a wallet. Every day I have my phone. But I don't always carry other things, like the watch I don't always have every day. What you don't see in this EDC is a fire source. I always have one on me close by, but I haven't been carrying any kind of lighters or anything lately. That will change. I'm going to go back to carrying a Zippo soon. As far as like multi-tools, I don't always carry a multi-tool, but I went back to the juice here, Leatherman juice. You can see the S2 because it's awesome, and I forgot I had it. A lot of times when we clean out our gear drawer, and a lot of us have one of those, basically a bunch of stuff that we're not currently using, throw it in kind of a junk drawer. It's kind of a man's junk drawer. That's really what it is the gear drawer. But that's one of those items that was in there. I love this thing. I used to EDC it all the time. I haven't for a long time. Started doing it again, and I'm finding it useful. So let's talk about some of this other stuff. Well, first, obviously, you saw there the Leatherman Juice S2. Awesome multi-tool. This is really good because it's a compromise. It's not a huge full-size multi-tool, but it's not something that's small either. It does offer a variety of tools. I've gone over this particular one many times in the past, but the most useful is right there. As you can see, those pliers. Now, you wouldn't think, you would be using pliers every day, and I don't use it every day, but it's amazing how often you do use them when you actually have them, like a lot of tools. And I get that a lot with knives. People say, yeah, I don't need a carry knife. I've never needed one. And you don't realize you need one. You're constantly borrowing them, and you're using things like scissors, which, yes, is two knives together, So when you say you don't have to use a knife every day, maybe not every day, but oftentimes there's something you need to cut. So anyway, speaking of knives, let's talk about the neck knife. You guys, of course, are very familiar with this one at this point. This is the Evans Cutlery Companion, and they're still doing the Indiegogo campaign, the fundraising campaign for these, and it's getting closer and closer to that goal, but it's still not quite there. So I do highly recommend you guys check it out. I encourage people to, sign up, of course, if you're in a situation where you're looking for a new neck knife or something. Of course, it doesn't have to be used as a neck knife, but I'll put the link down in the description box if you guys are interested. But yeah, still need to raise some more money if we're going to see these available for sale. But it is an awesome knife. I love it. I wear it every single day. As you guys can see, I swapped out the scales. If you haven't seen my update video on this, I did switch to some carbon fiber scales. And I went with a kind of a gold, yellow, and black lanyard and, necklace combo there. I think it's just a pretty cool color combination. So, get lots of compliments on that. As far as other blades, this is a new one you guys haven't seen on the channel yet. This is a Gecko. It's a model 1500 from Steel Wheel Knives. Beautiful lockback. I've done a review on Steel Wheel knives before, but this one is new to me. Just beautiful. Feels great. The ergonomics are phenomenal on this thing. And you'll hear more about this as I get more use on it. Right now I've only been EDCing this one for about 2.5 weeks or so. But once I get to do a review, you'll learn more about that one. Alright guys, of course the battery died on me, but I'm back. I left off talking about the flashlight. Nothing wrong with the flashlight. I really like it a lot. It's just, swapping to something new. So out with the old, in with the new. As far as the watch, I went back to wearing a watch. This is the G-Shock. I showed you guys this many times in EDC updates. Love that watch. I love watches in general, but I don't always wear them. It's kind of weird. It's like neck knives. Like in the last probably, I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 years, I've worn a neck knife every single day. But back when I was like, I don't know, 18, 19 years old, I'd wear a neck knife for about 2 weeks, and then I might go a couple months without wearing one at all. I would always swap back and forth, whereas now, even though I wear a neck knife every single day, I don't always wear a watch every day. For a lot of people, it's second nature to put on a watch. They grab their wallet and their watch, and they'll never be without it. Whereas to me, watches are kind of like, they come and go. I get into phases where I want to wear a watch, and sometimes I don't. And that's mainly because of this thing. This thing doesn't, it's not always going to be there. Obviously, the battery can die on that a lot faster than the battery would die on a watch. But I don't always wear a watch because I have access to finding out the time everywhere, as most of us do. If I look in my car, I got a clock in there. I got a clock on my phone. I got a clock in whatever building I'm in, So although it's not necessary, I still like the fashion aspect and the convenience of a watch. Yes, we all have, most of us anyway, have cell phones, not even smartphones, but any cell phone has the time. That's a timepiece that you have on you, but sometimes your cell phone's dead. Sometimes you don't want to take it out of your pocket. I don't walk around with my cell phone in my hand all the time, but to literally go like that and look at your wrist, it is convenient. It's very cool. And of course, a lot of watches have other functions besides telling the time. And yes, of course, most smartphones these days have those same functions. Even cheap flip phones have those same functions. Stopwatch, timer, stuff like that. But hey, you know what? Some people are into watches, some people aren't. I'm kind of in the middle. I do really like a watch, but I'm not always going to be caught with one on. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what's going on with watches, but I did kind of rekindle my like or love for watches as well as multi-tools. That's why I'm carrying both of them recently. As far as my keys didn't change, but if you haven't seen these in a while, basically I have my little zombie guy on here, which is very cool. Zombie head bead on some paracord, which I still love. I love my my knife is good tag, which is very cool. You guys saw that from a long time ago. I'm still carrying the utility knife, and of course you can see the handcuff key that's magnetized to this knife. But this working out really well. I mean, sometimes I don't always grab my neck knife or my regular knife. If I'm doing particularly a dirty job, if I'm cutting open a box that has tons and tons of tape, I don't want that tape goo on my regular blade, so that's when I will break this out and use this. And I've made multiple videos on these before as far as safety concerns with them opening and closing. But the newest generation ones, I mean, it's perfect. It's still nice and tight, as you can see. No issues with that opening up in the pocket when I'm not using it. The only issue I am having, however, is stuff sticking to it because of that magnet. You can see I have another key that's stuck to it as well. All right, handcuff key. Yeah, I mean, it's not something I need, but I do have handcuffs in my car at all times, so I have to have a spare handcuff key. I have one in the car as well, but you never know. If you have cuffs, some reason cuffs are on you or someone else, you don't want to get into a situation where you can't get them off, so it's good to have backups. And then, of course, I also have, last time I did a video, I said this was tritium on accident, slip of the tongue, it's not tritium. Tritium, of course, stays lit constantly, whereas this has to be charged. So this is a glow-in-the-dark vial as opposed to tritium. So this has to be charged. All right, so you can see that's all charged up now. Of course, when you use a flashlight, it's going to be its brightest, but it still does charge probably 50% of what you're looking at right now by UV light. So if I'm outside, you know, in the sunlight with this keychain, it does actually illuminate. And the same with indoor light as well. There's been multiple occasions where my keys were just sitting on the counter or something, and I need to go grab something outside, you know, in the car, I need to go somewhere, and I drop my keys outside, and I can pick up on it fairly quickly by using that keychain, as opposed to having to grab your flashlight and actually, you know, look for it in the dark like that. So I do like these keychains a lot. And although they come in a bunch of different materials, there's titanium, there's aluminum, or there's a stainless steel one. Even the cheaper, or the cheapest version is the aluminum version. It works just the same as the other ones. So unless you're like addicted to stainless steel gear, or you have to be one of those people that have to get the titanium everything, you could save some money by getting the aluminum one. They all work the same. But anyway, as far as the phone, same case, nothing new here. iPhone with an OtterBox case. Do love the OtterBox, but one issue I've always had since the beginning is this bottom piece here. See that little tab right there? That's supposed to stick in the frame, and it consistently pops out. It's not a huge deal, but it's just like when I'm using my phone, the thing is flopping around. It's just a very flimsy portion of this this case. So I guess, I don't know, a little bit annoying there, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, I use my phone. I use it mostly for the camera, to be honest. I don't use a whole lot of apps. Although I just downloaded a burner app, which is awesome. It's just called Burner, I think. And I was playing around. Of course, you want to use that app in a legal sense. You know, don't use it responsibly is what I'm saying. But it's a pretty fun app. I'm not going to go much into that. But so let's move some stuff out of the way here, and we can talk about this firearm. So I still carry the Glock 19, but I do have a new holster, as you can see here. All right, so here's the pistol. And the new holster I have is from Clark Fork Leather. All right, I have multiple holsters from this company. I have to say it's one of my favorite companies for, you know, semi-custom work, even though they're sold as production, you know, holsters. They're very much custom quality. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I like this this holster quality is top notch, and I want to try this style of holster, but I'm not in love with this. I really much prefer the wider holsters. It just carries on the belt a little bit better, distributes the weight better. In other words, this fits the gun very well, and the quality is definitely there. It's a really nice holster, but I'm getting a lot of this, you know, a lot of swinging and stuff, just because the contact point is a lot, you know, less than I'm used to. I'm used to the, you know, hybrid style holsters where you have like a neoprene back, or, you know, a suede or leather back with the Kydex in the front. So basically you have two clips and the weight's distributed through a much wider area. So it's not a fault to the holster, it's just the style. I wanted to try something out that was easier to use and smaller overall, but I think I'm going to switch back to the other ones. But I did want to mention that because Clark Fork leather is just awesome. Eventually I'm going to do a review on those shoulder harnesses, the chest rigs I have. I have one for the Glock 19 as well as for the Taurus revolver, and I use those all the time when like I'm on the quad or if I'm just walking around the property or something like that, when I'm kind of adventuring, you know what I mean? It's awesome. It's right on the chest in case I run into some kind of, you know, large animal that poses some kind of a threat, or a large person that poses a threat as well. But it's totally out of the way. I don't have to worry about, you know, pulling the pants down or, you know, getting in the way of getting into my pockets or anything like that. So we'll talk more about those chest rigs in the future. But for now, I just want to mention that in case this is a type of holster or style that you guys are interested in. It's a really good option to have. So anyway, that pretty much concludes the video, except for I am still carrying the 31 round mag because, again, remember this has the flat base plate, not the extended base plate. And I don't carry this as much as I used to, but I still carry it. Really just it's starting to depend on the other gear that I'm carrying. It becomes a weight issue. I really have to get back into carrying a gun belt and using a gun belt as opposed to a standard belt, which I'm using now. We talked about that in previous videos, but obviously when you do carry more weight on you in gear, you do need a substantial belt for that. So hopefully get to work that out in the near future. But anyway, that's my my EDC update. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, any comments or anything, of course, post your feelings down below in the comment section. And like always, I'd love to hear what new gear you have. You got a new knife? I want to know about it. You got a new gun? Let me hear about it. I want to hear about your new gear. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.